Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bedtime Stories for Nate. Today we will be reading Budgie, the Little Helicopter by H.R.H, the Duchess of York, illustrated by John Richardson. It was a hot day. Budgie the helicopter was bored. He looked around the huge hangar, but nothing stirred. Oliver the owl was fast asleep, and even Fergus the cat didn't notice the mouse in front of his nose. Budgie turned on his radio, but nothing was happening. Every now and then he cooled himself with a whirl of his rotors. Same old faces, he thought, as he looked round. I wish something exciting would happen. Budgie always longed for a bit of adventure. Yesterday, Budgie spent the whole day delivering a crate after crate of clawing lobsters from Mulhern on sea. I may be the littlest helicopter, he sighed to himself, but I wish I wasn't always given the nastiest little jobs to do. How Lionel the lynx laughed when Budgie was forced to have a thorough wash and polish afterwards because he smelled so fishy. There was nothing Budgie disliked more than a good scrub in the helicopter wash. Clatter, 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 blatter, blatter, clatter. Budgie looked up and saw Lionel. Humph, Lionel cleared his throat. Ahem. This is Budgie, he said to a small plane who was sparkled on and shone. He's not usually so clean. Must have been forced to wash. Budgie blushed, red to the roots of his rotors. I'm Pippa, said the plane. I'm new. Hello, smiled Budgie. Bang, 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 went the bird scarer. Everyone jumped. That's for me. Today is my first flight, said Pippa. May I come? Said Budgie. It looks as though there might be a thunderstorm, and I can warm you up if there's danger of lightning. Oh, thank you, said Pippa. Let's go. It's all right for you, groaned Lionel. Some of us have real work to do. Pippa soared. She looped the loop. We flew on her side. Brr. Then swooped. Ow! Hurrah! Hurrah! Shouted Budgie. Well done, Pippa. Just then, there was a loud noise. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It went whoop, whoop, whoop. That's the alarm, said Budgie. Control calling Lionel. Control calling Lionel. Lionel, come in. Emergency. Lionel, over. Budgie clicked on his radio. Whir. Budgie to control. Budgie get to control. Lionel's out on a job and won't be back for a few hours. Can we help? Over. Control to Budgie. You and Pippa are much too light and small. We need help. We need Lionel's help. There's a storm brewing. Budgie looked at Pippa. Too small, he said. Who says we're too small? Too small for what? So Budgie listened to his radio to find out what had happened. Rose Wright, on her way home from school in Stanton, was stopped by some men in a car and bundled inside. Now the kidnappers wanted a huge ransom for her parents. Just as he was noting the description of the getaway car, Budgie's radio went dead. The sky grew very dark. The two friends had the same thought at once. Come on, let's go. Budgie felt the first drops of rain and heard the thunder as he watched the lightning approach. He couldn't help feeling frightened. Buffeted and blown, Budgie and Pippa arrived at Stanton. They spotted the school as the rain died away. They didn't know which road the car had taken. So they flew in ever-widening circles. Keep fairly low. Then Pippa spied a big black car in the distance. Quick, she said, let's follow them. They followed the car for some time. Eventually, it turned along a country lane and headed toward an old barn. When the car stopped, Budgie and Pippa flew straight past, pretending that nothing was wrong. You keep watch and I'll go for help, said Pippa silently as she sped off. All alone, Budgie flew towards the barn. He turned off his engine and landed noiselessly. Only a light and small helicopter could land between these trees, he thought proudly, as he watched and waited for help to arrive. It began to get dark. Bang! Crash! There was a loud noise from the barn. Budgie looked up and heard a shout. Get her! Over here, Rose, Budgie shouted. Look out behind you. Quick, jump up. As quick as a wink, Rose was on board and Budgie was into action. But just as Budgie lifted off the ground, the man grabbed on his skids and hung on. This is my chance, thought Budgie. I'll keep him dangling until the police arrive and arrest him. He can't escape. Minutes later, Budgie heard a screech of brakes. The police had arrived, and he heard a familiar clatter. It was Lionel barking orders. The second kidnapper made a run for it. You won't get far, shouted Budgie. Then he carefully positioned himself over the roof of the barn. Here we go, he said, as he shook his skids. Ah! Crash, bang, splat! Budgie landed gently and Rose jumped out. Her parents were waiting, happy and relieved that she was safe, and Rose ran toward them. Lionel looked on, smiling. Brave little Budgie saved me, cried Rose. Budgie smiled. What an exciting day it's been after all, he sighed, as he started for home. Back at the hangar, Budgie received a hero's welcome. Good work, Budgie, said Lionel. I couldn't have done it without Pippa, said Budgie. We make a good team. You'd better come with me, said Pippa mysteriously. Now you're a hero. You'll have to be cleaned up. Oh no, Budgie moaned. It's nice being made a fuss of, but I hate taking a bath. The end. All right. That concludes another bedtime story for Nate. Nate, I love you. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you soon.